Good morning, everybody, on the 18th of January. So this morning we're going to continue with our multiplication unit. So reminding ourselves of our vocabulary, we have got groups, equal groups, lots of, arrays, repeated addition, multiplication and times tables. So far we have done lots of recognising our equal groups and making those groups. We've started to add them together and introduced our multiplication symbol. And we have also thought about multiplication sentences. So today we're going to be moving on to be looking at arrays, and we've also been linking in our bar model to different ones we've been doing. And we're also going to go and learn our 2, 5 and 10 times tables. So first of all, let's warm up our maths brains. Well done, have you had a go? So let's take the first question. So we've got 20 add 50. Well, I know 2 add 5 is 7. So I know that 20 add 50 equals. Okay, so complete the number bond. 6 add equals 20. We've got some tens frames here to help us. So we know that 10 add 10 makes 20. There's already some counters on here. So let's work out how many are the blank ones. So we've got 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we know that 10 add a 6 add 14 makes that 20. Now it says complete the part whole model. You could probably do this in lots of different ways. The first way I think you would probably do it is to say there are 4 tens, so that means 40, and 3 ones. I could have said, though, I'll have 3 tens, which is 30. If I put a 10 over here, I could have 13. You're adult to see if yours is correct. Doesn't matter which way you've done it, as long as you've completed it correctly. Okay, so we've got double 7. Well, double 7 means 7. Or we could say 2 groups of 7. Either way, it gives us the same answer of 40. Okay, so well done for warming up your maths brains. We're going to be looking at arrays for multiplication, and that's looking at the pictures that we're using for our multiplication. So having a look at this picture, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. I can see 6. Now, if I take my first way, I can see that I have got 1 group of 3, 2 groups of 3, and 3 groups of 2. Sorry, let me say that again. I've got 1 group of 2, 2 groups of 2, 3 groups of 2. So let's just have a look at filling this in. So we have got, there are 3 equal groups of 2. So that is 2 in the pictures, add 2, which gives us our 6. We can turn that into a multiplication because we can say 3 groups of 2, 6. Brilliant. But there's a different way I could do it. Let's have a look. Let me quickly take my rubber and rub out these bits so we don't get confused. Okay, so we could have done 2 groups. We could have done our 2 groups of 3. Let's have a look, because I've got 1 group here and 2 groups here. So if we fill out this one, we have got still 6 tarts. I've not eaten any, but this time we have got 2 equal groups of 3. So it makes our addition a little bit different. We have got 3, add 3 this time makes 6. We can still turn it into multiplication though. We've just turned our numbers around because we have got 2 groups of 3. Give us our 6. Okay, so let's have a look then. Would you like to have a go at this one? Can you put them into groups in different ways, in 2 different ways? Well done. So let's have a look. I can see that we have got So this time I'm going to just grab my pen and I can do 2 equal groups of 5. So I've got 2 equal groups of 5. So we can say that is 5 add 5. That gives us our 10. So then we can turn that into multiplication. So we've got our 2 equal groups, which gives us 10. So rub out those groups a minute. Oh, let's make the rubber bigger. Faster to rub out. Here we go. Oof. So how else could we have done it? So we could have done it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal groups of 2. So we've still got 10k, but we have got 5 equal groups of 2. So that is 2 add 2 add 2 add 2 add 2, which gives us our 10. We'll make the multiplication by saying we have got 5 groups of 2 multiplied by 2. So well done for getting those right. So let's think about this word array in here. You've just been looking at arrays, but what do you think it might be? Well, that's right. It is where we organise our pictures. We have an ordered group of pictures. So over here, this is just some apples. Lots of apples randomly placed all over the place. Over here, we have got an array because they are neatly lined up with the same number in each row and each column. So do we think that this is an array? Is this an array here? You're right, it's not an array because look, we've got an odd one out. We could put another pair there to make it an array, but here's a little challenge. Could you just use 9 pairs or 9 dots or 9 counters? Could you turn it into an array? Use 9 objects to help you. Let's see if you managed to get it right. So if I move this out of the way, here we go. I have still got 9 pairs, but I've neatly arranged them into an array because they've got the same number going across and the same number going down, so they've got everything's equal. So let's have a look at making some arrays. How would we make arrays? My writing's got funny. Let's check this out, sort it out. How could we make an array for 5 equal groups of 3? Now if I grab my stamping tool, I'm going to make 1. Here we go, so 1, 2, 3 groups. 1 group of 5. Start again, Mrs. Stevens. 1 group of 3. 2 groups of 3. 3 groups of 3. 4 groups of 3. And 5 groups of 3. Okay. So that's the array for 5 equal groups of 3. What does the array for 3 equal groups of 5 look like? I'm just going to borrow this picture a minute. Let's just grab this picture, group them all together and copy it. Now, if we have a look, that's my picture for 5 equal groups of 3. But if I turn it around, I've magically got 3 equal groups of 5. So, having a think about that, can you draw or use counters or some equipment? What do you think the array could look like for 2 groups of 4? Remember, it could be 4 groups of 2 instead. Let's see if you've got that right. This time I've used stars for my arrays. Here we go. I've got, oh, this one shows one group of 2, 2 groups of 2, 3 groups of 2, 4 groups of 2. Or I've got this that shows 2 groups of 4. So let's have a look at this question and our thinking question. Who do we think is correct? Take a moment, make sure you do some checking. Let's see who is correct. Okay, I'm going to use my pointer this time. I'm not going to do a drawing because I might end up having to do lots of rubbing. So this person here says, I can see 2 groups of 6. So 1 group of 6 and 2 groups of 6. And I'll say, well, maybe if I put a line through them. Here we go. 1 group of 6, 2 groups of 6. Brilliant. Okay, that person is correct. This person says, I see 6 groups of 2. 1 group of 2, 2 groups of 2, 3 groups of 2, 4 groups of 2, 5 groups of 2, 6 groups of 2. Yep, I think that person's right too. Now I'm going to rub them out now so we don't get confused. Okay, this person here says, I see 3 groups of 4 and 4 groups of 3. Let's have a look. 3 groups of 4. So there's a group of 4. There's a group of 4. And there's a group of 4. But then they've also said they can see groups of 3. So I've got 1 group of 3, 2 groups of 3, 3 groups of 3, and 4 groups of 3. So yeah, look, that person is correct too. And that's a little bit tricky to understand, so let's rub out those pictures again. Okay, so finally it says, I can see 1 12 and 12 ones. So I can see a group of 12. Here's one big group of 12. But also, I think they're right. So here's a group of 1, 1, 1 group, 1 group, 1 group. So we're up to 6 groups, 7 groups, 8 groups, 9 groups, 10 groups, 11 groups, 12 groups with just 1 in each. So I was a bit naughty and gave you a trick question because they are all correct. So here is our learning for today. So our silver activity is this. Looking at this array of pairs, can you complete your repeated addition and your multiplication fact? Tell me how many pairs there are. Thinking about the stars as well, can you do exactly the same for the array of stars? Now for this one down here, I've got an array. But can you think of 2 different multiplications you could do? And don't forget, multiplication is something times something so many equal groups of something equal this. Could you write 2 for this one and 2 for that one? We've then got it a little bit different. We're still thinking about our 2 different arrays for gold, but can you draw our 2 different arrays for 2 groups of 5? And don't forget, you could read it the other way round, 5 groups of 2. And finally, let's just make sure you can read it all. How many different arrays can you draw for the number 20? And don't forget to write your multiplication sentences for those. So if you grab 20 objects, how many different ways can you neatly line them up to make an array? Really looking forward to seeing your Maths on Dojo later.